Hello, everyone. I'm Tracy, and I'm here with Shane. Today, we're going to discuss a little bit about the death of legacy media. We're going to discuss that a little bit. And then we're going to go into some of the frequently asked questions that we've been getting so that we could address it here instead of, answering them one by one. Before we get started, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so before you leave and like, comment, and share this video so we can let as many people know what's going on. Okay, so with that, I'm going to just show a couple. I'm not going to go into detail because this is a very big topic. I'll link Man in America's video that he did yesterday. Seth Holhouse really goes into this topic. But something interesting that I picked up on is CNN has officially announced that they will be doing some significant layoffs, including some of their top talent. And we don't know exactly who that will be, but these are some that are possibly going to lose their jobs. And they'll also be getting reductions in salary because some of these, I know Anderson Cooper, oh yeah, $20 million. Like, I don't think CNN can afford those, not even close, because here are some rating numbers. This is just last Thursday. And so Fox News is actually doing really well. It's doing better, but MSNBC and CNN have lost huge portions of their viewers. And I thought this number was really significant. Right here on the bottom of the top paragraph, CNN brought in 419,000 viewers. So just to put that into perspective, I have videos that not a lot. I have one video that has more views than that. And we're talking about CNN, a very well-known channel that used to bring in like 6 point something million a day. So that brings up this topic that I've been wanting to discuss for a while, is that there's a big void in news right now because a lot of people don't trust the big channels. They're going to go to podcasts and channels such as this to find the truth, because people like us, we don't have people paying for ads and requiring us to say things a certain way or cover certain topics the way they do. We don't have any FBI or three-letter agencies dictating the content that we make. So if you were thinking of, kind of dipping your toes and being a citizen journalist, I think it's a really good time. And you can do it for, you can get set up for not a lot of money. I would recommend hopefully have a computer or laptop. I recommend getting a webcam and a microphone if you want to do interviews or talk to the camera. Those things make a huge difference. I know when I started, I didn't have those things. And I don't spend a lot of money on these items. Nothing's over $100. And it really makes your videos look so much better. And we also use StreamYard as the way to do these presentations. I prefer it over Zoom. And yeah, there's a little duck there. We love it. I'm not affiliated with this company. I just happen to use them, and it's been very well worth it. I think it's $20 a month, but we use it all the time for almost every video we do now. And I'll link the mic and the webcam that we use, and so yeah, you guys could check those out. So did I forget anything on the legacy media?
I don't think so, except unless we're about to transition into the, citizen journalist and citizen investigation portion of it.
Yeah, you want to talk a little bit about, if you are in the position to get evidence and you want to help us out. Shane, I think, has offered his Proton, so you can send it there, because my Proton's been, I think it's full, and Yeah, there's just a lot of activity there.
So if you're someone out there that has firsthand information on something on an event, whether you're a witness or a survivor or you've just uncovered something, then you could send that to my Proton email. Because Tracy's Proton is actually getting completely full, and she there's so many emails that she just doesn't have time to go through them all. So she forwards what she can to me, but it's kind of it's a lot. So we're going to start using my email, which is 8ue11er at proton.me. And so once again, it's 8ue11er at proton.me. And I'll put that link down below. And so that's for anyone that has firsthand information, that they want to send to us. Make sure that, you give us as much details as you can as to when and where, like, the uh, the four W's of journalism: when, where, what, why, and I guess how. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. But and if you have any, if you're a researcher also, and if you have secondhand information that you'd like to send us to, clue us into something that you found, then if it's a video, make sure to let us know the timestamp. Because like if it's a long video, let us know where in the video to look for that particular information. And yeah, like I said, if it's firsthand or secondhand information, make sure to send it to us with as much information as you can. And we're going to start using my email now as well.
Okay. So we'll put that all that information in the description, and then maybe fairly soon we'll do a post reiterating some of this and giving a little bit more detail on how to provide evidence. Okay, and then we're also going to do a couple of, we'll start the frequently asked questions. I'll do the first one, and then Shane's going to discuss the smart city plans and how to get information. But the number one question that we get is where are the children from Lahaina? If you're a little less familiar with the fire in Lahaina, there are a lot of missing people, and the death count is like at 100 when most of us know the number is much higher. And looking at the Department of Education re-enrollment numbers, there was a large number of kids that did not enroll. So a lot of speculation is that these children are trafficked and abducted during this event or shortly after. And we haven't found any solid evidence that that happened. No one's come forward. I haven't seen a single picture or video with proof. We saw the school buses. In the book. We go over all the information we do have that could be related to missing children, but we don't have any information that we haven't already shared. So we're not like holding back or anything. I know some people think we might know, but everything that we know about that has been shared and written about. Did you want to share anything about that?
Well, I could just say that I have followed every lead that I've come across and that everyone has sent to me. I used to follow Starkey Homestead when she was really hot on the trail of this missing children story. But even, I found similar results to what she found, is that there are not a large number of families or parents who have reported missing children. And I really can't say as to why that is, because I know that Lahaina had a lot of multi-generational homes, and it's possible that the entire family may have died together, and then there's no one left, no survivors left to report the rest of them missing. However, I have no absolute proof that there have been any children that were taken to or from this area, and the trail kind of goes cold in Pulehunui. So, I mean, the only way we could really probably advance that investigation is to have boots on the ground, to speak to people who were, at those businesses at the time. So, like ground transportation in Pulehunui, Aloha Waste Systems, and Valley Isle Pumping in Pulehunui. And I doubt you're going to get forthcoming answers, even if, especially if something did happen, you're not likely to get a good answer. And then if nothing did happen, then you might actually uncover the fact that nothing happened. But as far as my investigation here from the mainland is concerned, the trail goes cold at Pulehunui, if there is a trail at all. And so I've come to the same conclusions that many other researchers have, is that maybe most of the children probably died in the fire. And I know that's terrible to think. However, I know it does run contrary to the Maui Police Department's after action report, who back in February claimed to have contacted every single one of the missing children, which contradicts their own claims that there were at least three minors that died. So, their statements are contradicting themselves. However, I have no solid concrete proof.
Yeah. And we've been very forthcoming. So I'm really sorry we can't provide a better answer, but that's really all we have. Okay, and then another question we get very often is how do you find out the redevelopment plans for the area you're in or a loved one is in? Let me just also put this out there. Just because there is a plan or redevelopment plan, it doesn't mean a disaster is going to hit that area. These cities and these redevelopment plans are going on all over the world. Some of them already kind of done. And so I don't want this to make people think that they need to prevent or prepare for a disaster. But Shane could explain a little bit how to find out these
Right.
things.
So, just to reiterate what Tracy said, is smart cities or 15-minute cities or transit-oriented development corridors, they are pretty ubiquitous, and you almost can't even throw a rock without hitting a 15-minute city. So, the fact that a lot of these disasters line up with smart city plans, it might be coincidence. However, I have noticed a slight trend that the more compliant of the smart cities might be a little bit more likely to be redeveloped in the near term, and that could also be done by geoengineering or weather modification of some sort. However, I just want to let people know that just because there is a 15-minute plan or a transit-oriented corridor, or even if they're still calling it a smart city, which they haven't usually done that recently, they've been rebranding in most locations. But I will give you guys kind of a as much of a comprehensive list as I can give off the top of my head of keywords to search for. Now, I do cover a chapter in the book where I lay out a lot of these terms. However, I do also plan to do a post in the near future where I will put down every single term that I've come across in every locality, so that you could plug all these in and find the stuff that's near you. So one of the first things I do if there's like an event that occurs, I check to see if it's in like a large area or a small area. If it's a small area that's actually an urban area like a city or a town, then I check to see if there's something called a community plan. There's also community corridors is another word for those, or sometimes they call them commercial corridors in the more conservative areas. And then they also call them cultural corridors sometimes in the less conservative areas. Now, those are more for very small towns or city areas. However, you can sometimes find, like in the, say, Maui County, for example, has, the Maui County, they have general plans, and most counties actually call it the general plan. And some of them even call it the 2030 general plan, which
Yeah,
it's kind of
Shane, you cut
surprising.
out there for like 5 seconds. So I
Oh,
think he might
okay.
have said something important.
Okay, so in a local county-wide area, it's still often named a general plan, and sometimes it's even still called the 2030 general plan, because these do come down from the UN. This is a top-down design structure that is implemented all over the world, but it comes from the UN and the World Economic Forum, specifically the UN, though, their Agenda 2030. So one thing that I look at the county-wide level are their general plans. And then they also have something called the short range transit plans. These are usually community wide or county wide. However, they do play a role in the larger statewide transit plans. So sometimes you'll find a long term, like the Texas long range transit plan, which covers all of the areas in Texas, including the area near Amarillo. So, that's one way that I found that. But in other areas of the country, like in Spanish speaking or of the world, like in Spanish speaking parts of the world, You'll hear the term eco barrio sometimes, like they did in Costa Rica. Another thing to look for is smart tourist destination. This comes from the Segitor Company, which works closely with the UN for their 2030 plan. And they implement their plans for all of the Spanish speaking areas of the world. And so if you look for Segitor, SEGGITUR is how it's spelled. Look for their smart tourist destinations or smart tourism badges, because they're the ones who award these smart city destinations with their smart tourist destination badges. That usually happens at about 80% compliance with the goals that they have. And so when a tourist destination reaches 80% compliance, it is under a higher likelihood to be redeveloped. Now, it's speculation whether this is to be done by geoengineering or social engineering or other means. But like Tracy says, in a lot of areas, they've gotten a jump start and they're already mostly completed with some areas. So while Maui may have been one of the first smart islands, along with Tenerife and Rhodes, Greece, um, there's plenty other localities that were already progressive enough before a lot of these agendas were pushed through, that they've implemented a lot of the 15-minute walkable mixed use zoning, with the with all of the smart city applications. So there's a lot of localities and cities that have already gotten a head start on this, and some of them are actually already completed. And so there's no disaster required to redevelop these areas. So I do think that smart city is not necessarily the only reason for some of these disasters. As we've seen in other cases, it could be mineral related or otherwise.
I also wanted to add, when you see a plan and there are certain words that tend to come up very frequently, such as sustainability, equity, inclusivity, I'm missing some, but those are the top three that you tend to see, and you know that it's probably a UN directed plan.
Right. And then to try to give you guys a little bit of a list here, I'm going to go through some things for you to, I guess, Google in your own areas. So, strategic plan. So, a lot of times, one of the states of the United States will have like the Hawaii strategic plan for transit oriented development. Many statewide plans to call it the strategic plan. And then you have transit oriented development corridors. You also have transit opportunity corridors. And then now with Ventura, I've discovered something called the high quality transit areas, or HQTAs. These fit in with their short range transit plans as well as their long range transit plans. And like I said before, the community corridors, commercial corridors, cultural corridors. And a lot of times these are done for smart grid purposes. So a lot of times you'll see them working hand in hand with the power company, the local power company, which is usually owned by BlackRock, to do something called a smart grid or a smart island in the case of Maui. There's also something else that one of our researchers came up with, and it's called wildland urban interface. I'm just going to throw out a few more terms like eco barrio, smart tourist destination, 15-minute cities, anything labeled smart, sustainable, carbon neutral, or zero carbon. And that's all I'm going to put in here. I might make a post about it, but yeah, back to you, Tracy.
All right. So that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys so much for being here. And thank you so much for the support. And again, we'll put the email address to send evidence and statements and things like that. So we can get we could kind of be a little bit more organized, because right now they're going all over the place, but let's try to get it to this one place, and then it's more likely to be seen. So that's going to do it. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you all soon. Bye.